Hi everyone, I hope you all enjoyed the Valentine's heart tutorial. Kate actually asked a really good question and she said, where does the straight of grain go on the final bodice piece? And on mine I used the top of the center front for that, but you can see, I'm gonna line it up, you can see it really distorts it further down. So if it's a really soft fabric, you might not get the fit you want. So I'm going to show you quickly a really quick tip you can use to even out your straight of grain on your top. And of course you can use it for any style where you have sort of quite geometric or quite exaggerated pattern cutting. So it works really well for if you suddenly like open something up, it's all in the bias and you want it to be more on the straight of grain. And here's how you do it. So at the moment for mine I kept the center front above the heart as a fold, so I got my straight of grain there, because you always have your fold on your straight of grain, otherwise it's going to be very tricky to fold, which means I've got just checking, not quite, this would be a true bias, mine is more like that, but it's basically on the odd bias, which means it's sort of pulling a bit. So you could actually, it's nice for when you want something which is clings to your body, and of course it makes it more comfortable, but of course it means that your waist isn't on the straight, which means if you want to have a really fitted dress, it won't be as structured. So what you can literally do is that instead of having our seam here, which is quite noticeable as well, we can just replace that seam here with a seam there. So what we do is we turn this into the center front, fold again, and then we just add a seam anywhere. And you basically sort of think about, if I do it at a right angle to the top, it's going to be slightly off bias at the bottom, and if I put it on the straight of grain on the right angle to my bottom bit, it's going to be slightly angled at the top, but it's going to be a lot less because we're sort of spreading it out. So I'm actually going to move into the armhole, because that's the least noticeable and it's the smallest length. So if you put a seam like that, it's not going to be that flattering. Well, if you have it here towards the bottom, then it's not as noticeable. And you can even make it at right angles, or if you angle it slightly, then the good thing is it's nearly on the straight of grain on both. So if I just draw a line across here, of course you can add a notch. Now you can see I've got the straight of grain on both of them, and all I have is a little seam here, which is you can see they're slightly off grain, but they're fine, and around the armhole area a bit of extra stretch isn't a bad thing. So this is a really quick tip on how to turn something which is quite off grain into a two-piece on grain bodice. And of course you can use it for any other style as well. You can always replace your seam and change where you put your straight of grain and where you want it. And of course the same works the other way around for a bias. So I hope you found this helpful. Bye!